Hello everyone, welcome back to the XFL Fan Zone, and this is the last part of my requested video series. I've only had 3 requests for doing videos, so this is the third one. This is for Super UK Cats. This is your video that you requested about relocation in 2021. Well, first of all, I'm going to post a link about my expansion video down below. It's a 38-minute video. That's a very long video. It goes in about the other person's request about expansion, how it would work. This is pretty much going to be along those same lines, I guess. I'm not going to go into great detail about it. This is going to be a quick video. First of all, if we start relocating by the year 2021, the XFL is in big trouble. That's the bottom line. And if we start relocating out of these big markets, the TV deal may go south with it. So let's not hope there is no relocation in 2021. Now, as far as relocation goes, I think we could say 2 teams that have no chance of relocating are the Seattle Dragons and the St. Louis Battlehawks, because they're number 1 and 2 in ticket sales and merchandise. And it's not even close right now. Those 2 teams are by far on top. So we're not going to discuss St. Louis relocation or Seattle relocation at all. It's just not going to happen. They're selling. Those are big football sports areas. They're enthusiastic about their teams. This is the first football team born and raised in St. Louis that's professional, and Seattle is a big-time football town. Just go to a Seattle Seahawks or Washington Huskies game in Seattle. They are diehards up there. They love their football. So we'll talk about the other 6 cities. Well, if LA were to go down, and that would be a bad thing, because, again, our TV contract that we got of ESPN, ABC, Fox, and Fox Sports 1 was because we had big markets. This is why the AAF did not get a big-time TV contract. They were all in small to medium markets. But we'll talk about LA. Now, God forbid LA goes down, even playing in a small soccer stadium. Relocation. Well, my first guess would be San Diego. Now, there's rumor is San Diego is going to have wants to build a stadium for the Aztecs, as well as a soccer stadium there, and possibly, which would hold about 30,000 people, and possibly expand that to 55,000 should an NFL team come back. Now, I don't think 55,000 for an NFL franchise is good enough. I mean, I think you would need at least 60 or 65. That's just my opinion. But if that happens, I think that stadium would be good. Or if it doesn't, they may have to go back to Qualcomm. I don't think Vince McMahon would want to leave that California state whatsoever. That's a big market. It's the biggest state, the most population in the country. So I think Qualcomm would be a option if they had to. Or go up the Northern California coast to San Francisco or San Jose area. There is a small soccer stadium, I think part of the MLS in San Jose. It's close enough to the Bay Area. Or we could do what we did in 2001. Play at AT&T Park, which is Pac Bell Park back then, like the San Francisco Demons did. And the Demons had the best attendance in the league that year. They averaged over 35,000 people a game, and they had as many as 50,000 one game against the LA Extreme. So the Bay Area are big into football. They love their football there. They love their Niners. They love their Oakland Raiders, despite the fact that Oakland's screwing them. Oakland's getting screwed again by the Raiders. The other option is, I guess, if you had to, you could go back to the Oakland Alameda Stadium, where the Raiders used to play and where the A's play now. The only problem is they said the XFL was denied it because the A's don't want to share a stadium. Now, being that Oakland has lost 2 teams already, Golden State and Oakland, I don't see why, if Oakland doesn't own a stadium and they're not drawing real well, they wouldn't want revenue from the XFL. So that makes no sense to me. So if LA were to move, I think those would be the 3 spots: the Bay Area and San Diego. Another possible one for LA would be Las Vegas. Kind of like what the Oakland Raiders did. That you could play in Sam Boyd Stadium. Fits about 50,000 people. We were there in 2001. As far as attendance goes, they didn't do so bad. They had a nice crowd day one. I think this time around, I'm not sure how the Vegas fans would react, especially if the Raiders come to town, but it is an option. But you're going to need someone on that West Coast to rival Seattle. Unless you can also go to Portland, which would become more of a natural rival for the Seattle Dragons, put a team in Portland, since there is also a small soccer stadium up there also. Now, you see I'm going with this. I keep mentioning small soccer stadiums. Well, if this league is going to survive in the first few years, they ought to be playing in small soccer-sized stadiums. Because if they have to relocate from a city like LA, which has a soccer style stadium, well, you're going to find another small stadium. Or if one of the bigger market teams like New York or Tampa can't draw well, they're going to be downgraded to a small stadium. But I think we should be playing in small stadiums anyway. Now let's see. As far as the two teams in Texas, Houston or Dallas, if one of them were to relocate, the obvious place for me would be right there in Texas, San Antonio. I think you'd be nuts to go anywhere else. San Antonio, each time they've gotten a spring league team, the attendance has gotten better and better. The Gunslingers didn't do so well. The San Antonio Rams of the World League did pretty good. But the Commanders of the AAF did very well. And I think that city growing in the Alamo Dome is a nice place to play football. I think San Antonio would be the place to go. The only other place I can think in Texas about going would be El Paso, where UTEP plays, but I'd much rather stay in San Antonio. Those people have shown by far the most enthusiasm for football. Now, if you want a third spot, I would say go to Nebraska. Omaha has seen it do very well in the UFL. They did very well in attendance. It was them and everybody else. So I suppose you could go there, but then again, you're looking at a smaller market. How long these TV networks are going to hang around going from Houston or Dallas to a place like Omaha? It's going to spell doom. So this is why we got to root for this league to do well. Because as the league goes down and the TV networks see this, they're going bye-bye. So, okay, so that's three teams. We'll go to the East now. Tampa Bay. Well, I think the obvious one would be to move over an hour and a half into Orlando and play in a stadium where the University of Central Florida plays. The Apollos averaged about just over 20,000 a game. They did very well there. Orlando took pretty good care of their Apollos, despite the rest of the league not doing so well. I think that would be the obvious place to go. Again, Florida is another big state, the third most popular state in the country. Do you really want to leave the Florida market despite the fact that it's really not a good sports town? But Orlando is the only team, the only city in that state that never had a professional sports team that can sustain a sports team. So I think Orlando would be the way to go there also. Now, as far as the Northeast goes, with Washington and New York, listen, if DC cannot hack it in an 18,000 soccer seat stadium, there isn't much future for the XFL again. Where are you going to go? Washington, D.C. is a major market. Where would you go? You're going to go to Philadelphia? Not a bad option. It's a big market. It would be a more natural rival for the New York Guardians. They would have that New York Philly rivalry, which is pretty intense. So you could go there, but after that, where should you go? You can go to Hartford. Now again, Hartford is the biggest city in the country that doesn't have a professional sports team. So that may be a bad option. It would be a New England-New York rivalry there, since Hartford's on the border of the tri-state area and the New England area. It would be rather interesting. But again, you're moving to a bigger stadium. You're going from an 18,000 seat stadium to a 40,000 seat college stadium, and you're banking on the people of New England coming out to support that team. Would they? I don't know. An open air stadium in New England in February, March is pretty brutal. So where else could you go? Columbus, Ohio. Again, they have a soccer-sized stadium, which would do good But again, to leave DC to go to Columbus, that does not spell very well for the league. And again, you're risking losing that big TV contract. So I don't think they're going to leave Washington. But if they did, those are your choices. And last but not least, New York. New York is going nowhere. If they can't make it in Giants in MetLife Stadium, they're going to move 7 miles down the road and try to play at Red Bull Stadium, which is a 25,000 seat soccer stadium. If that doesn't work out, I don't know, Citi Field, the Mets play, Yankee Stadium where the Yankees play, would those stadiums want to share that field with those football teams? I don't think so. Either way, there's no way they're going to move the New York franchise anywhere but keep them in that area, because that is the biggest market. And if you feel, as they say, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Well, we lose that team. You could pretty much kiss that contract goodbye. We'll be back on TNT or the NFL Network broadcasting XFL games. So, again, this is your video, Mr. Super UK Cats. Hope this satisfies your answer. But for the rest of the football fans, the rest of the XFL fans, pray this league does well. Because if it doesn't, and we got to relocate, it could be the beginning of the end. But I'm very optimistic of this league right this time. Vince McMahon has done almost everything right. He's done everything he asked as the last time. And I think this league is going to do well. He's already financed it for 3 years on his own. Again, if the two biggest markets have to relocate, New York has got a couple options there, and so does LA. But if they got to move out of those big markets, it spells trouble. All right, folks, let me know what you think. We are 88 days away from XFL kickoff. We'll talk to you later. Enjoy your week.